What if I told you one gaming console would cost over $1,500 today and it came out over 30 years ago? Let's get into it. What's the most expensive gaming console ever made? Most people might guess something modern like a PlayStation 5 or maybe a high-end Xbox. But surprisingly, the most expensive console ever didn't come out recently. In fact, some of the most expensive gaming consoles in history came out decades ago, and when you adjust their prices for inflation, some of them would cost over $1,500 today. Yeah, imagine paying that much just to play video games in your living room. Today, we're counting down the most expensive gaming consoles ever released, adjusted for inflation, and some of these prices might seriously shock you. Let's start with the consoles that were expensive, but still somewhat reasonable. Number 10. The first PlayStation. When Sony released the original PlayStation in 1995, it cost $299 at launch. Today that might sound cheap, but when adjusted for inflation, that's about $620 in today's money. Still, the price didn't stop it from becoming one of the most successful consoles ever, selling over 100 million units worldwide. And honestly, it's easy to see why. The PlayStation introduced amazing games like Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, Metal Gear Solid, and so many more. Sony had never made a console before, but with the PlayStation, they basically changed the gaming industry forever. Number 9. The PlayStation 5 Pro. So let's fast forward to modern gaming. Sony's PlayStation 5 Pro launched at around $700, making it one of the most expensive PlayStation consoles ever released. Unlike most console launches, this wasn't a brand new generation. Instead, it was a mid-generation upgrade designed for players who wanted higher performance, better graphics, and smoother gameplay. And while the price surprised a lot of gamers, Sony openly admitted that the PS5 Pro was meant for hardcore players willing to pay a premium. Compared to gaming PCs though, the price actually starts to look pretty reasonable. Number 8. The PlayStation 3. Now we get to one of the most controversial console launches ever. The PlayStation 3 launched in 2006 with a starting price of $499. When adjusted for inflation, that's about $790 today. At the time, many gamers thought the PS3 was way too expensive, but Sony packed the console with cutting-edge technology at the time, with features like a Blu-ray player, powerful graphics hardware, and online gaming features. And eventually, the PS3 became home to incredible games like The Last of Us, Heavy Rain, Infamous. Even though the price shocked gamers at launch, the PS3 still went on to sell over 87 million units worldwide. Number 7. The Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn is one of the most interesting consoles in gaming history. When it launched in the mid-1990s, it cost $399, which would be roughly $900 today after inflation. The Saturn was actually pretty powerful for its time, but it had one major problem. It was extremely difficult for developers to make games for. Because of its complicated dual CPU architecture, many developers struggled to fully use its hardware. And when the original PlayStation launched with easier development tools, the Saturn quickly lost the console wars. Despite its struggles though, it still had great games like Castlevania and Sonic titles that fans still remember today. Number 6. The Atari 5200. Back in the early 1980s, gaming consoles were still a brand new concept. The Atari 5200 launched in 1982 for $269. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $876 today. At the time, that was a serious investment. But Atari wanted the 5200 to be a massive upgrade over the Atari 2600, offering better graphics and improved hardware. Unfortunately, the console had several issues, including unreliable controllers, and it never achieved the same success as its predecessor. Number 5. The Atari 2600. Now we're getting into the really expensive territory. The great Atari 2600 launched in 1977 for $199, which equals roughly $1,030 today when adjusted for inflation. But this console wasn't just expensive. It was revolutionary. Before the Atari 2600, most games were played in arcades. But this console brought video games directly into people's homes, introducing classics like Space Invaders, Pitfall, Adventure. The Atari 2600 didn't just sell games, it basically created the home gaming industry. Number 4. The Intellivision. In the late 1970s, Mattel decided to compete with Atari. Their console, Intellivision, launched for $299, which equals around $1,200 today. Mattel marketed it as a more sophisticated console with better graphics and sound compared to the Atari 2600. Many of its games were more strategic and complex, appealing to a slightly older audience. But the high price meant it was never truly a mass-market success. Still, Intellivision helped push the industry forward by raising expectations for what consoles could do. Number 3. The Apple Pippin. In the mid-1990s, Apple attempted to enter the gaming industry with a console called the Apple Pippin. Released in 1996, the system launched at around $599. When adjusted for inflation, that price is roughly $1,100 to $1,200 in today's money, making it one of the most expensive consoles of its era. But the Pippin wasn't just a gaming console. Apple designed it to be a multimedia device, capable of browsing the internet, running educational software, and playing games. Unfortunately, the idea came before the market was ready. The console had very few games, weak marketing, and strong competition from systems like the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. Because of this, the Apple Pippin became a massive commercial failure. Only around 40,000 units were ever sold worldwide. Today, it's remembered as one of Apple's strangest and rarest gaming experiments. Number 2. The 3DO Interactive Multiplayer. Now we get to the second most expensive console ever. The 3DO Interactive Multiplayer launched in 1993 with a massive $699 price tag. Adjusted for inflation, that's around $1,500 today. And the reason it was so expensive was actually pretty unusual. Unlike most consoles, the 3DO company didn't manufacture the hardware itself. Instead, companies like Panasonic built the consoles and sold them, meaning they had to make a profit on the hardware itself, which drove the price sky high. Unfortunately, the huge price tag meant very few gamers could afford it. And when Sony released the PlayStation for just $299, the 3DO quickly faded into history. And finally, number 1. The Neo Geo, the most expensive gaming console ever released. When it launched in 1990, it cost $649. Adjusted for inflation, that equals roughly $1,570 today. That's basically the price of a high-end gaming PC. But there was a reason for it. The Neo Geo was essentially an arcade machine built for your living room. It played the exact same games you'd find in arcades, including Metal Slug, Samurai Showdown, and the cartridges themselves were massive. In fact, some Neo Geo games even cost over $200 each. This console wasn't designed for casual gamers. It was built for hardcore players who wanted the ultimate arcade experience at home. So while modern consoles might seem expensive today, history shows that gaming has actually been much more expensive in the past. Some consoles would cost over $1,500 in today's money, and that's before buying any games. But those early systems helped build the gaming industry into what it is today. From the Atari 2600 bringing gaming into homes, to the Neo Geo delivering arcade-level power, these consoles proved one thing. Gamers have always been willing to pay for the future of gaming. And honestly, looking at the prices today, gaming might actually be cheaper than ever. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, comment down below your favorite console of all time to have a chance of winning this shirt. And if you'd like to just buy this shirt or others similar to it, just check out our store, Nastalgic Gamer Days. Link in the description. Let me know what other gaming topic I should talk about next. Until then, keep chasing high scores.